Welcome to Gulfstream today, and welcome to beautiful Gulfstream Park. Another nice day here in South Florida. We've really been lucking out over the last week or so, and a big luck this week. We got Pete back to join us here at beautiful Gulfstream Park. Pete, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty well off the heels of a great pick 5 carryover yesterday. Big payoff, $3,000 for 50 cents with a couple odds-on winners in the sequence. Definitely some value there.
Yeah, we kept saying it would be $100,000 at least, and it was well over. Every time we have a carryover in the pick 5, they send it in there. We got a fast main track. We got a firm turf course. Talking about our multiple wages, let's show you what we got today. We're going to start it off with the early pick 5, and that's the first five races on the card. It's a 50-cent wager. The rolling super high 5 today only starts in race number 2 today because we don't have enough runners in the first field, just 6, so I need 7. So that starts in race number 2, and we have rolling super high 5s throughout the afternoon. As I say, as long as there's 7 runners or more in the field. And then the Rainbow 6, race number 4 today, carryover over $55,000. Only 5 out of 6 yesterday. Still a decent payoff of about $500 for 5 out of 6. And as you mentioned, the late pick 5, the Rainbow 6 was a pretty good sequence too. I mean, nobody had 6 out of 6, but I think it was you had a good shot to get those 5.
Yeah, I sure thought so. You and I were talking off camera this morning that if anybody followed the Ron and Pete picks, they weren't broke by the time they left the track.
No, we had a good day yesterday and just had to box them around. So let's see if we can do the same thing today. What about the first race?
First race, I can see the boxing them around theory. Race 1 on the program on the turf, 7.5 furlongs. The trip, $25,000. The claiming level, just a field of 6, but somewhat of a tricky race. I think the key contenders here are numbers 1, 4, and 6. I use them in a different order than Ron, but those are the same 3 that we use.
Yeah, for all the marbles, finds a perfect spot to step up the competition, I think, after drawing off to defeat $16,000 open claimers. That was going a mile in the 16th. It's Dave Casson, the trainer, MSC El Jaramillo in the saddle. I want to go back and real quickly show you a stat here on Dave Casson over the last 5 years. Winner last time out on the turf. This is pretty good. He's 14 for 52, 27%. 52% in the money, and look at that ROI, $3.90. That's a winner on the turf last time out over the last 5 years. So looks like a profitable angle, looks like a logical spot. But is the morning line favorite?
He is the morning line favorite. That's not what concerns me about him. If he's the best horse, he's the best horse, especially this time of year in South Florida. Right. The problem I have is this race resembles a race that started the pick 5 yesterday in the sense that there's another couple of horses in here that are coming off layoffs that are stretching out from 5 furlongs. For all the marbles, does his best work on the lead. Storm and Inti and Swagger will have something to say about that. I think they do too much too soon, which will set it up for the Tim Hills runner on the outside, Seuss.
Yeah, Seuss, you like Seuss, and he's stepping up after running through his conditions. He won his 2 lifetime and his 3 lifetime conditions at the $16,000 level. But if I remember correctly, Pete's Rule 106, you never take a horse that's stepping up from condition claimers into open company.
Wow, Ronnie's actually really been studying the book. He's right about that. But in this particular contest, I was looking for horses that would benefit from what I expect to be a fast pace. The only horse I saw that had any sort of form doing that was the number 6, Seuss, so I used him on top. The other horse who likely stands a chance to rally is number 1, Scoria. Scoria is a horse that needs to get back into form, had to win 4 back, but has not run well since being claimed.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 4-time turf winner, but you're absolutely right. You know, he defeated this caliber competition you were talking about, including the top choice for all the marbles back on January 9th, but it seems to be he's got to bounce back from whatever he did. So the first race, I mean, I think the 6 is a logical choice in there. Funny, huh?
For bounce back from whatever he did. I like that. It's just this New York intuition that I'm not used to, having been away for a couple of months. But let's now turn to the second race. The second race on the program begins the 50-cent early pick 4. Maiden claimers of the $12,500 variety. We race 6 furlongs. Ronnie, you and I agree on one thing. This is a bullish morning line. To install any horse at this level at odds on the morning line is one thing. To do it on a horse that did not run well last time is something completely different. I do think the 2-horse who is the morning line choice has a chance in here, but 3 to 5?
Yeah, and if you read its short running line last time out, it said it veered in at the start. I went back and looked at this horse veering in at the start. He just basically made one move to the left and then straightened right out, so I don't think that's a concern. You're right about that. He's in the right spot to win here.
Sure
3 to 5. I don't understand that. That's too low for me in here. But as Upperton, he's a logical contender in there. But I wouldn't be surprised if the 7 Steady the Ship won it.
Well, here's the thing about Upperton. He's going out for pretty high profile connections at this level at this time of year, but there's a low percentage rider in Francisco Masonette signed on to ride. That does not exactly instill confidence in you if you're looking for that, quote, money run. My money run would be if they switched riders. So Masonette with the return call. I'll try to beat the favorite. I'll do it with the 7, Steady the Ship. Ron, we had a second race yesterday. We both thought it set it up for a first-time starter. We were both wrong. So maybe we'll be right here this afternoon. Steady the Ship has an outside gate. He faces a field that has more questions than answers, as I like to say. And all he has to do is have a little gate speed, and I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot to win his debut.
Well, you see this gelding, he may have signaled his intention. He worked a solid 3 furlongs out of the gate in 35-2, albeit it was in the mud with the dogs up, but still shows that he's got some early lick in there. And, you know, the horse that we mentioned yesterday, first time started, didn't run, Ben, was second in that race. So, and I think this is the same situation there. Close it out with the one-piece Militant, who's dropping to the lowest level in his career after getting beat double-digit lengths against better on both dirt and turf. I just thought off the drop in here. I mean, this is a wide-open affair. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you're putting an early pick 40 ticket together, or even the early pick 5. I think you got to go deep in here. You got to go all or something like that.
I agree with that. I'm going to be 5 deep in my early pick 5 ticket in this race because I think there's a single in the third race, which we'll get to in a minute. Want a couple of notes on number 1, Peace Militant. He makes a stable debut here today for trainer Bernardo Lopez. That should wake him up, especially the drop in class. Another horse that's not in my top 3, but I want to give some airtime to, is the number 5, Weeza Gone Gray. His form is ugly, but as far as I can tell, he's going to be in front here unless that first-timer from the outside has speed. Speed always a dangerous weapon of choice in these lower-level maiden claimers.
Well, you're right. Let's go to race number 3.
Sounds good. Third race of the afternoon, an optional claiming allowance race for a $44,000 purse. We race 1 mile, and here we have a field of 6 signed on. There are no scratches. There are no jockey changes. This is the likely single at everybody's early pick 4 and everybody's early pick 5, myself included. Second start off the shelf and dropping majorly in class for number 5, Kiss to Remember.
Yeah, dropping to this allowance optional claiming level, and after this grade 1 stakes place, Dawn of Big Brown returned from that layup almost 4 months, proved no match for a repeat stakes winner who was just fantastic here, and that is Stone-tastic. That was in the 6 furlong grade 2 inside information. She's the obvious class in her second start back from the layoff. I think she's going to be a low price near. Just really did not run very well in the last race. I don't know if they just put her in there to leg her up. You know, nobody was beating Stone-tastic that day.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it, too. If you look at this race, there's not a whole lot of speed in here. And the horse that does look like she's going to be in front, concealed with a kiss, doesn't look good enough to compete against horses like Oasis at Midnight and the favorite Kiss to Remember. That's the rub here. I would like to see Edgard Zayas not be too aggressive. We are going 1 mile here, but I don't want Kiss to Remember far back like she is sprinting. I want her flanking the top flight horses and having first run on Oasis at Midnight. That's the key for me. Leaving the 1 mile chute, so about the 6 furlong mark. If the 1 is in front of the 5, that's the way it'll end up. If the 5 is in front of the 1, that's the way it'll end up.
You heard it here first. Number 1, Oasis at Midnight, second at this level in distance right here on February 11th. Goes up to Tampa Bay. Doesn't run very well in a $40,000 handicap. You've followed Tampa much more than I did. I was a little shocked off that performance last time out. I mean, I didn't see it with my own eyes, but on paper, didn't run very well. But it's Joe Orsino, MCL Jaramillo. Did this horse bounce back today?
Yeah, I think so. A couple of notes about that. That was Tampa Bay Derby Day. The track was an absolute conveyor belt, as you can see with the sub-45 half mile. So Oasis at Midnight was up against it that particular afternoon. Harp and Halo, very, very sharp runner, previously trained by John Terranova. Little Daniela actually got real good after she left here Gulfstream Park last year. So race caliber was good. She was racing against the bias, but here this afternoon she's going to have that same problem. She needs something to run at. I don't see it.
Yeah, and number 3, Cayman Croc, is how it closed it out. It's making her first start since using her tactical speed. She defeated a pair of next-out winners. It was a $25,000 optional claimer, but it was at Parks. And it was last December. Kelly Breen is the trainer. What I liked about the horse added to my ticket was the horse is training forwardly for its first race since September.
The only thing, the chink in the armor there is that if you look at her 3 layoff line, she's not shown that she runs her best race off the shelf. I would think that Kelly Breen, heading to New Jersey as he always does, this is where that's interesting. You have to have the rub right now. The horses that are staying here in South Florida, like we talked about with the Christophe Clement runner yesterday, are they targeting this race, or are they using it to have a leg up on the horses once they get to Jersey?
Well,
for me, it's the latter.
Yeah. Well, who'd you close it out with?
4 Concealed with the Kiss. She'll be in front. I don't know that she's good enough to hold off the classy horses, but she'll be a major player up front.
Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have the Rainbow 6, and I'll show you my ticket. How's that?
Sounds like a plan. I think we should play it.
We're going to do that.
We're back now for the preview of race number 4 on the program. This is a very competitive race. We have a field of 8 on turf. Claiming price here is $35,000. I made a case for 5 of the 8 of them in here, Ronnie, including the horse you used on top, Princess Moon.
Well, let's show you my ticket real quick here for the Rainbow 6. As I mentioned, $55,000 plus. I only went too deep in here with the 1 and 8. But if you see in race number 6, I singled the horse there today. That was my single, and that's Let's Be Frank. And when we get to that race, I will show you why I had a lot of trouble at the gate, maybe caused all the trouble at the gate, but ran exceptionally well later on. 3 deep, 4 deep, $43.20 for my Rainbow 6 ticket. I don't know if you're in agreement with me, but we'll find out about that single in race number 6.
I'm not as vehement as I was yesterday. For those who watched the signal yesterday, late pick 5, Ronnie singles to start the program. I was 4 deep in that race, and if Ronnie single won, I was out. So round 1 for me on that, by the way.
Right,
but
yes.
Race number 4.
I was second.
Yes, you were. Thank goodness for that. Race number 4 on the program. Let's show you a backtrack look at the number 2, Parting Shot. I think that she's a horse that might be able to ruin Ronnie's Rainbow 6 ticket. Not intentionally, but we just want to show you.
Right.
Parting Shot had no chance tactically. We're going to take a look at that first turn run now. The number 5 highlighted there. She's going to be sent wide into the first turn, 5 wide into the first turn. In fact, she's widest of all there on the far outside. Now, that's not good, especially when she's not considered to be the top contender. Off the top of the corner, great job there by the video crew. She's 4 wide turning for home. That's a tough way to do business on this turf course. 5 wide to start the first turn and 4 wide on the top of the turn. You have to be much the best to win. She finishes okay. You can see there she's trying to make ground, but she just gave up too much ground in the process. She's going to end up running 4th. Her race 2 back was solid. She was second to half a length, and I think against this field, she does fit pretty well. Price will be right. She won't be one of the favorites.
She won't be one of the favorites, and they're ridden today by Juan Lever. As you mentioned, the horse I have on top of my ticket is the number 8, Princess Moon, shortening up to a 1-turn mile, to a mile, not a 1-turn mile. We're on the turf. After responding to a drop in competition with a second-place finish against the same level of competition going a mile in the 16th, Francisco D'Angelo, Lionel Reyes atop this daughter of Malibu Moon. And I just thought on paper, I don't know if this is the morning, this is the morning line favorite, and I just thought off that performance last time out was the one to beat.
She's definitely a different horse when she's got on the turf. And, ordinarily when we're on this program, we tease each other about having races where we just completely disagree. I can't even say that's true here because I like 5 horses in this race, and all 5 of them are represented on the screen right now. For me, it's numbers 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So even though Ronnie Quote and I don't really have the same opinion on the top 3, I agree with your horses here.
Yeah, and what about the one, Vroom, 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 Vroom? This one is stretching out to a mile. The first start since rallying was 5th that race, was only beaten 2 lengths, was 7.5 furlongs. It was a good race. I remember the race. 2 horses, Smart Romance, Venezuelan Beauty, both came back to win their next starts. Gustavo Delgado, Edgar Prado, inside post this afternoon. Just thought it was a horse. Maybe not win it, but could certainly be on the exacta or trifecta or superfecta ticket.
Well, if I use Vroom, 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 I might as well go all because that would make it 6 out of 8. I like 5 out of 8 as it stands now. For the record, Ronnie, just as the announcer, you used one too many Vrooms there. So Gabe Pruitt, if you're listening.
Vroom.
Yeah, you had 4 before. 4 Vrooms.
No.
So.
Are you sure? Play that tape back later on. We'll count up my rooms.
We'll move now to race number 5 on the program to start today's 50-cent late pick 5. We stay on the turf. We stay at 1 mile. Claiming price here is $30,000. Non-winners are 2 the category. This was probably the mortal cinch on the program, but I have bad news for you. You can scratch her. Number 2, Tybalt's Queen, has been withdrawn. Opens this race up big time, and for me, this is not an easy race now.
No, it's not an easy race at all. You're exactly right. But I did end up, I scratched in, moved up to number 3 in here, and that's Hanover Honey. Now in the Stanley Gold Bond, it's a daughter of Quality Roll. She's returning to the turf. She's had 7 races on the turf with a win, 2 seconds and 3/3. She was wide last time. She had a 5-wide trip. She produced a 4th place finish. It was against 16 optional claimers going a mile in the 16th. That was on a sealed sloppy track. Tyler Gaffleone in the saddle. I love the work that the Stanley Gold does. I put this one on top of my ticket.
No argument there. I do remember Hanover Honey from last year. She has 0, and I do mean 0 turn of foot.
Right.
That's not necessarily bad the way this race is going to shape up. Tyler's got to tuck in off the speed and just let her grind away at him. Maybe move into the clear on the far outside around the far turn and just let her just keep chipping away, because the speed seems vulnerable here. Although, Ronnie, you and I both think the 7-horse Talitha Coombe at a number might get loose here, stretching out from 5 furlongs.
Yeah, and that was the case. You know, she dueled through swift fraction. She actually won 1 of 2 of those recent 5-furlong turf races. A maiden was the win. She'll be a big part of the pace scenario this afternoon, and I've seen this numerous times throughout the championship meet, and even here in the early part of the spring summer meet, where horses stretching out from 5 furlongs, going around 2 turns, whether it's 7.5 or a mile, have been a major part of the pace scenario. And Gulfstream turf certainly tilted toward horses that run that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And veteran reinsman Eddie Nunez has the call here on number 7, Talitha Coombe, to start the pick 5. Eddie's not a send rider, so if she lands in front, you're going to have major trouble, because Nunez is very good once he gets up top.
And what about the horse you have on top, Lady Sartre?
Lady La Sartre, she's going to be a victim of any type of non-pace scenario. So if the 7 clears, that's bad news for the 1. But there is some other speed in here. You have the stretch-out speed from the 7, but you also have the 4 and 5, who have some good tactical first gears. And I think maybe Lady Sartre can set it up to run on from behind. She's handled today by Lionel Reyes. I've not got to see him ride very much, so this will be my first experience with him atop a top play of mine. She ran pretty well last time. I didn't think the field was that bad. Like a Queen, the winner, I know her very well. Hope Faith Joy came back to win a week and a half ago.
Okay.
Race number 6 on the program, 7 furlongs the journey. We start the 50-cent late pick 4. Maiden's in for a $40,000 price tag. Full disclosure, Ronnie and I have the same top 3. I don't like this race, so we'll let Ronnie play the offensive side. You love 1. Let's be frank.
Well, let's be frank. Let's go back and show you the start of this race here, and you're going to see this horse. That particular is the number 2. Watch this at the beginning here, Pete, and you'll see this horse. You're going to go over and get some popcorn. Just gets, comes over, stumbles, gets back. Now this horse is way behind the field. Probably caused that trouble to the 3-horse in here. But watch the steady progress with this horse after that start. I thought it was a good late run. The horse just keeps coming and coming. He bobbled at the start, and here the number 2 coming down and just almost gets the job done this afternoon. So a little bit off that trip call, still coming to 2. And I just thought it was a top performance after that troubled beginning, second beating the length.
I'm going to go back and watch that head-on replay again, because it looked to me like watching the backtrack from the pan shot.
Right.
She's behind the kick back there.
Right.
Looked like she was maybe shifting ground inside a little bit. And then once Contreras got her to the outside, that's when she picked up the second horse, because it didn't look like she was getting second at any point until she got up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just thought of that performance. I put her on top of my ticket. The reason I singled that horse in the Rainbow Six today, because I wanted to add more horses as the progression went on. So I can understand. Well, you got it on top, too. So I was going to say I can understand why you don't, because you usually don't. But you did go with the number 4, Remarkable Tail, in second.
Yeah, you used her 3rd for trainer Harry Benson. Second start off a bit of a freshening. She adds the shades here this afternoon. I think that's a good idea. She's been dropping awfully far back here. Or he has, I should say. This horse has run well in each of his last 2 starts. Has raced 2 back. Nothing wrong with that. If he can stay close enough, he can certainly play a major role.
Yeah, and Brave Enrique, we both have on the ticket, dropping a notch in the maiden scale, cutting back to 7 furlongs after finishing 3rd and 2nd, respectively, in a pair of $50,000 maiden tests, going a mile during February. Coming back, didn't run badly before the layoff. Drops in for $30,000. Why not $42.30? Why not fit right here?
Jockey Misael Jaramillo had a 3-win day yesterday afternoon. I think that'll be the rule rather than the exception as we go through the summer.
Right.
I was talking to Victor Sanchez. I think there's 3 guys, if you're handicapping the races every day here at Gulfstream Park, you want to focus on Jaramillo, Tyler Gaffalione, and Edgard Zayas. I think if you do that, you'll have at least 4 wins every day.
Yeah, I mean, Misael Jaramillo, he came here, last fall and just was incredible, and he's kept it up. He battled with the top jockeys in the country throughout the championship meeting. So, as you mentioned, 3 wins yesterday. So that starts what, late pick 4 there? No, late pick 5.
No, late pick 4. We have 9 races on the program this afternoon. Right. Let's start the late pick 3 now. We stay on turf at 1 mile. Optional claiming a starter allowance race. They're in for $25,000. You can scratch the main track only is the 9 and 10. So we have a field of 8 in here. Now this is one of those races where Ronnie and I disagree, and I might have to poke some fun at you.
Well, number 1, Brianna's Bucket is dropping a notch on the starter optional claiming scale after following her $35,000 maiden victory. That was going 7.5 furlongs. Come back, runs third against $35,000 optional claimers going a mile last time out. Eddie Broom, Edgar Prado in the saddle. I think the drop, I think the stretch out to a mile, all positives in my estimation. Put this one, I don't know what the 4th choice on the morning line, so going to get a little bit of a price there at 5 to 1.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it. If Vroom runs pretty well earlier in the program, move up Brianna's Bucket, because this horse ran against Brianna's Bucket, and Brianna's Bucket, of course.
I counted your Vrooms there.
Yeah, there are 3 Vrooms. I like that. That was excellent.
That was
now, speaking of Edgar Prado, he used to ride the horse I like on top here, number 3, Raised to Be a Warrior. Ronnie was telling me, and I don't really know if I remember or believe this, so if there's anybody out there in social media land, I'm being accused of not paying my debts. I have pancake debt, but I think we'd like to reinstitutionalize the pancake wagers here. 3 against the 1 to start the late pick 3. Raised to Be a Warrior with a rider switch today. She has some tactical speed, and she does have figures that are pretty good. I think the rider switch Desires will move her up today.
So this is a pancake bet.
This is a pancake bet.
You got it. Let's talk about the 7 in here, which is not part of the pancake bet. This is Crystal's Cantata, hoping to recapture the form she displayed winning back-to-back races here during December and January. She had trouble in the $60,000 Mrs. Presidentris, and coming up empty behind Brianna's Bucket last time out, it's Kathleen O'Connell, reunites this daughter of Teufelsberg with jockey Eduardo Nunez, who was aboard for both those previous victories. These guys team up. I'm talking about Kathleen O'Connell and Eduardo Nunez for many wins over the years.
If you're a fan of the South Florida simulcast signal and you've been watching the gentleman to my right, your left for a number of years, you should know one thing, but I'll tell you if you don't. When Ronnie picks horses that are long on the morning line, you have to go bet those horses. Yesterday, your long shot play of the day was the easiest kind of winner.
Right.
You got bet down at 12 to 1. Crystal's Cantato, a horse that I had not considered. I will have to do that now.
Yeah, and I mean, I just thought this horse, going back off that back form, good connections, couldn't run very well in this spot.
Another horse I gave some consideration to, and so does you, Ronnie, is the number 4. I'm not even going to attempt the pronunciation because I don't have to call the races this afternoon. Misael Jaramillo has the call here. She ran very well last time out, takes over for Paco Lopez, lateral jockey switch, and she just looks to be the best of the rest.
Yeah, I mean, but she's the morning line favorite in there, which
7-2 on the morning line, though, so this is a very, very contentious race.
Right.
I agree with that installation of the morning line.
Right.
Some of these races here at Gulfstream Park, having made the morning line, we both have done the job. It's not a job you want to do. It's kind of like a place kicker in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't get any credit for doing it right. You certainly get all the ridicule for being wrong.
Isn't that true? All right.
I think that's the yup from yesterday. We'll now move to the feature race of the afternoon. Allowance optional claiming event. The trip is 6 furlongs. A lot of horses on comeback trails here this afternoon. I will have to be full disclosure here. You can see what my form says there.
What?
Brad's choice. That is our video room coordinator, Mr. Brad Boyd. He's going to help me with my picks today. This is the first time I've seen them, full disclosure, and I like them. Number 5, Enterprising Lady. We're going Ralph Nix 1-2 here. She was second behind Floridora in the Big Sire Stakes action last time out. Both of the Ralph Nix horses, Enterprising Lady and Shaka Khan, coming off layoffs. Which one is ready? I would have to think that they both are live here. Elvis has the call on Enterprising Lady. The go-to pilot rides Shaka Khan.
Well, let's show you a stat on the number 5, Enterprising Lady, before we tell you about my top selection in here. Ralph Nix, only 4 for 36, 11%. He's 44% of the money, but only $1.18 ROI. 180-day layoff with 3-year-olds and up on the dirt over the past 5 years. He is the king of the 2-year-olds here in the summer. But at this particular 3-year-olds and up, it's not the same things. It's an excellent trainer, and if they won the race, this horse was fantastic in the Florida Stallion Stakes last year. So I wouldn't be shocked if this horse won. Got it on the ticket. But I want to go back and show you the horse that I have on top, and I'm glad that Brad added it to the ticket, and that's Heartbreaker Girl. Now, you called this horse's race last year, and this was some debut. It was a $50,000 race, and Heartbreaker Girl went off and just ran off the screen that day and won it by 6.5 lengths. And what they do with this horse, as you can see, was much the best. They put this horse right from that race. They sent her up to Saratoga in the Grade 2 Adirondack. It was sort of tilting windmills in there. Didn't run that bad, but not coming back. But I was impressed with this horse. This was the horse that everybody was talking about when it went up to run in the Adirondacks. Things didn't work out. Coming back with Lasix. It's daughter of Drosselmeyer. Is trained consistently for her long-awaited 3-year-old debut is why I went with this horse on top.
Now that you gave all that good news,
right.
Let me give you some reality check and some bad news. That backtrack, you saw Proud Lady run up and get second.
Right.
She's still a maiden, by the way.
Well, you know,
now,
yes.
hold on. I'm not done yet.
Oh, you're not done yet?
Just Wicked was the winner of the Grade 2 Adirondack.
Right.
Just Wicked ran at Oaklawn Park all winter long. Just Wicked owes me some money because she's ran terrible since she came back as a 3-year-old. She ran in a race on Apple Blossom Day at Oaklawn Park. She was the 5-2 second choice under Joe Bravo, and she never got out of a 2-minute lick.
Well, I'm glad, as I said, that Brad put it on the ticket because he understands the intricacies of handicapping these type of races. This horse loves this track, ran well, working well, good connections. You watch Juan A. Rodriguez throughout the meet. He does a very good job, and he pops up. The other horse I want to talk about in here that Brad and guys upstairs didn't use, My Dear Venezuela, second at this distance in the Grade 3 Old Hat here when coming off the layoff in January. So we know this horse runs well off the layoff. Actually was on the Grade 3, makes her first start. She was eased, but she was easy to avoid falling horses. It was on the turf. It was in the 5-furlong Melody of Colors. Bruno Tessori come back to South Florida the last couple of months. All his horses will be running well. Hey, look who's riding, MSCL Jaramillo.
Now, here's some good news for you. See the horse that won that last race,
Right.
Cashback?
Right.
Cashback is a horse that came to Oaklawn Park, raced against Just Wicked, and whipped her tail. Cashback won under jockey, ran very well that afternoon and won a stake at Oaklawn last week. So the solid company line there. And another horse that lost to Cashback is Dad's Kiddo. Again, I don't have much of an opinion here, so good luck in the future.
Well, what about the ninth race? Did you do
I have
any
an
work?
opinion there.
Oh, you did
yes,
some
I have
work
an opinion there. One of my more strong opinions of the afternoon. Ninth race, $10,000 claimers at a mile on turf. This is more of my forte. The good races are always tricky to me. They're your territory. When we get into the middle tier races and the lower tier races, that's my specialty. So,
well, we seem to be in agreement with our exactor in here.
Yeah.
With the
I think those are the right top two, and I hope the morning line holds firm.
Kelly's little secret, used the tactical speed to win a pair of turf races against this caliber competition. It was across town at Gulfstream Park West last fall. Is returning to the grass. She failed to earn a check in her 3 starts at the $16,000 level before she was sent to the sidelines in January. So going off those performances, you know very well, at Gulfstream Park West, I think this is a logical spot, $10,000 for her.
Huge class drop here. It doesn't look like it on paper, but from a company line standpoint, trust me when I tell you, Wild About Jazz, Vipera, JL's Princess, these are serious racehorses at this level. There's no serious $10,000 horses in this race this afternoon. Huge rider switch from Gerardo Corrales to the veteran Elvis Trujillo. 6 for me as well.
Yeah, and Pentathlon in second, dropping a peg on the claiming scale after returning from the layoff, finished a late running fourth, beaten about 1.5 lengths against 12.5, going a mile in the 16th. Alfred McIntosh, 7-pound apprentice. Chris McIntosh in the saddle, so a family affair there for the number 5 Pentathlon.
Previously trained by Low Percentage Connections, Alfred McIntosh has freshened her up. I love the fact that she woke up last time on the return try. It was actually a hike up in class. All indications are that anything anything other than that last race for pentathlon. Doesn't matter. She's a different racehorse now than she was then.
Didn't know what to do with the one Elnath in there. You know, comes off a couple of good performances on the dirt. You know, you have to go back. She's on the turf, 0 for 2, so I threw her. But my long shot today, can I talk about my long shot?
Yes, please, because your long shot is always live, so let's hear
10,
about it.
Almost an Angel, a 4-time turf winner, is going back to the grass after drawing her away to defeat 6,250 claimers, going 7 furlongs. That was on that sealed sloppy track. This horse ran very well when it touched this level of competition at Gulfstream Park West. Josie Gomez is in the saddle, been riding in good form. I think this horse can wake up. I don't know what it is on the morning line, 8 to 1. I think you get a little bit of a price with this horse. And, you know, if you can go back and look at the performance of Kelly's Little Secret at Gulfstream Park West, sort of what I did with Almost an Angel.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Ronnie's long shot plays of the day, fans. We should almost build graphics in the TV department for them because I have that much confidence in them. They're always live runners.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Let's see how it does after. Tomorrow we'll let you know how it did. So you did a pretty good job today, except you took a couple of races off, but otherwise you were okay.
Just one. I've got to be honest with you. When I don't have an opinion, I don't have an opinion. As a horse player, and you know this, as a horse player, you know we're up here handicapping every race, every day, but we can't have opinions on every race, every day. That defies logic.
What have I been doing for the last 25 years?
Well, now I'm the one that's speechless.
Yeah, that's it. We done yet?
Yeah, we're done now. We're 28 minutes to post time. Track announcer Gabe Pruitt is up next with today's program changes. I'm Pete. That's Ron. Good luck here at Gulfstream Park. We'll be back in a little while.